Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chimp Talk. I'm here with Kevin Visser on episode 7. He was here on episode 6, so thanks for coming, bro.
My pleasure, man. Round two.
There's a couple of things I want to clarify. One of our friends watched the podcast. One of the 4 people that watched the podcast.
Oh shit, we got homies.
No, but she commented on remember the superhero the if I had a superhero power, it'd be
the
guy.
question there.
It would be the guy that would shoot eyebrows like to people and like
Wasn't it
them.
love?
No, it wasn't love, bro. Shut up. Don't go there.
It was love at one point.
Shut up, bro. The superhero is like a guy would take eyebrows. Like if I was a superhero, I would like be able to like grab one of my eyebrows and like laser it onto somebody.
Like boomerang some
yeah,
person.
exactly. Boomerang it and like recatch it. But and then I was thinking about it, and it'd be quite the cultural thing to have that superhero. I feel like Middle Easterns and like brown people don't have a superhero. So I could be like the Black Panther, but for like the Middle Eastern people. You know what I mean?
So like, give me the link. Give me the link, because I ain't gonna say the link. You tell me the link. So Middle Eastern brown people, what's the link with eyebrows?
They have thick eyebrows, so they have somebody to look up to. You know what I mean?
To like empower them.
Yeah, exactly.
With the like eyebrow feel.
Yeah, exactly. You should be empowered to have bushy eyebrows. You know what I mean? It shouldn't be like an insecurity. You know what I mean? And I remember when I was a kid, that's what I would get bullied on. You know what I mean? In the like elementary school or like beginning of high school. You know?
There are a lot of superheroes, right? The whole point is that like there's a bunch so that you could relate to one of them.
Exactly.
So I agree with you.
So how cool would this movie look like? So you have this little kid with bushy eyebrows, like in high school, like getting made fun of, like ha ha ha. They're like pushing him onto the like the lockers and shit and making fun of him for having bushy eyebrows. And there was the huge war on terror. So like all the Middle Eastern people and like they're being like stigmatized and whatnot,
getting called terrorists and stuff.
Yeah, exactly. And then like this kid, like I would love to direct it personally. I wouldn't want to be the actual bushy eyebrow superhero. I would love to direct it. So Kanye West, please invest in my ideas. If you're listening to this,
this is an open invitation, Kanye West.
So essentially, what would happen? How I imagine like the opening like scene, it would be kind of like this girl's like being surrounded by like three dudes that want to like give her trouble or like harass her or whatnot. And then like the guy with the bushy eyebrows passes by and he's like, "Hey guys, what are you doing? Leave her alone." And the guys turn around and like, hey pal, keep walking, you know. And then next thing you know, like he doesn't want to do it because he doesn't want to hurt people. You know that dilemma that every superhero has.
Yeah.
It'd be like a classic.
But I got like one question. This is what I find the most interesting in the superhero tales and everything. So how did he get that power? So he went from getting bullied, right?
Okay, yeah, sure.
So he went from getting bullied, bushy eyebrows and stuff. Like, what the fuck happened?
He went into an esthetician one day to get his eyebrows lasered, but then like
it went wrong. It went rogue. Like Deadpool style. Like, oh fuck.
Yeah, exactly. Something fucked up happened.
Now you got a movie, bro. Now you got a movie. Kanye, you hear that?
So he comes out of the esthetician like all fucked up, you know what I mean?
Then he's like 6 months in the hole, super depressed. Like, it's got this weird like it's worse, bro. It's even worse. And one day he wakes up, bro, and he starts realizing his superpowers slowly but surely.
Exactly. Like as he unwraps his like forehead, because his forehead is like wrapped.
Yo, imagine he's walking down, and he's about to get like a baseball in the face because he gets bullied all the time and stuff. He's about to get a baseball in the face or something, or a football, and then the eyebrow stops him, and he's like. And then he starts realizing his powers like that. It's like, oh shit, I gotta harness this eyebrow.
Okay, fuck. Oh shit, the caffeine hit me, bro.
I like that.
Now I got green tea though to cover up. Oh, okay, wait.
You know, there's more caffeine in green tea.
Yeah, that's what I'm down for.
Okay.
Yeah, I wanted to clarify that. So I would love to be a director for that movie.
So what was the clarification exactly?
The clarification is that I don't want to be the actual superhero, and I want to direct it. And I hope that somebody sees this and could fund it, because that'd be fucking great. Like, I would call the superhero Young Brows, because the thing is, there is the Prince of Persia. But we can't have Prince of Persia for all the Middle Eastern people. It has to feel like it's one person that represents all.
Yes, they include.
Yeah, exactly.
Not just Persia.
Yeah, and then it would be fucking awesome, and there would be like, but next thing you know, there would be like protests and like riots about it. Like, people don't want Middle Easterns to have a superhero, so there's like security blocking like the movie theaters for like the protesters that want to protest against it. It would be fucked up. But I think it'd be a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of people don't know that.
Have you seen Black Panther?
No.
Me neither.
I haven't seen it. I
want to check it out, man.
I definitely want to see it.
Like, it broke a bunch of like records and stuff too.
Yeah, I know.
So I'm down to see it.
Same.
I listened to the album that Kendrick did.
Yeah,
that was pretty fire, man.
That's a sick album.
That was pretty fire.
The Weeknd coming out with some new sound. It sounded, it was good. Yeah. Some good stuff.
No, I was sick.
People don't know that you're half Mexican.
People don't know. All 4 people that watched.
Yeah,
I'm half Mexican.
And
it's that simple.
Like when I think of like South America and like Latin America, I just feel like somewhat intimidated, like, to go there and whatnot. Like, you've been to Mexico, right?
Yeah, and like one thing is that Mexico's actually North America.
Yeah.
Just letting you know.
Yeah, North America. But tell me a little bit like about that. Like, is it as gangster as the movies make them seem? Like El Chapo and all that.
It depends where, man. Like, to be honest, like, I don't want to say that I've been everywhere. I would love to backpack Latin America, Central America. I know people that have, single girls doing it. So I know that there's ways that you could do it, like, and be safe. I know a lot of people that have done it, but I do also know that there's some dangerous places. And like, I'll speak from experience in Mexico when I went like a while back, maybe like 8 years or something like that, maybe even 10. Like, there was a lot of gang shit going on, and it, like, where my family is, you're about to laugh.
I was thinking about the eyebrow superhero could come to your rescue.
For real. Well, speaking of which, like, where's the Mexican superhero?
I don't know. Do you guys have one?
We're just not integrated into that, like, culture,
I guess,
scheme. Like, we got our own, like, culture.
Would it be a wrestler? What would it be? Like do you know
Mexican wrestler? Yeah, Mexican wrestler. No, I feel like that would be cool. But like, it reminds me of the Kudo guy. It'd be sicker if like
the Kudo animation.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But I don't know. It'd be sick if he fucking like threw chilies, bro. Like, he just threw that heat somehow. He could do like any type of heat, just a little picante. So people are like, and then he like evades like pepper spray style. But then like that straight fire, so he could like just disintegrate people too.
Yeah, I don't know if the Latin people would want that. So you're gonna have to put a little bit more thought into that. And then next time you come on the podcast, you'll have
I'll have the pitch.
Yeah, exactly. You'll have the pitch.
I'll have the producer pitch.
But tell me about the Mexico.
Well, all I was saying is that like when I went near the border, because like everything's happening to bring drugs into the U.S. and Canada, right?
Right.
Like, let's put that out there. So what happens is that like the border of Mexico is the closest thing to the U.S., right? They share a border together. So anybody who's you're tripping balls, bro.
You're joking about the eyebrow catching. Okay, wait. I have to get my shit together. Okay, go.
For real. I'm talking about some serious shit right now.
Okay, no, it's true. Sorry. Okay, go.
Because Young Brow ain't here to save us right now.
Okay, wait. Before you do that, okay, yeah, I keep stalling the Mexico story. I'm just gonna start distributing the cards for poker. Okay.
Cool.
Okay, so keep saying the story.
So, U.S. and Mexico share a border, and then back in the day, like, if we've all seen Pablo Escobar, what was it called, Narcos and all these things. Anyways, back in the day, how drug used to get into the U.S., the cocaine trade, the cocaine cowboys, all of those things, how they used to get into the U.S. was airplanes. And then what happened is that airplanes aren't the shit anymore. You can't fly in a bunch of cocaine via airplanes because of technology, because of border patrol, because of all of these things. So what ended up happening is that you have to do it by foot. You know, you have to do it by car, by foot, or by tunnels. And you can't tunnel from Colombia to the U.S., right? Because they don't share a border. It's far. You have to fly. So what happens is that you're flying all of these things to Mexico, which is like fly free zone. Let's say like bring your cocaine, no problem, or bring your drugs, no problem. And then you're bringing it into the U.S. via tunnels, via all of these things. So that's how it started, right? And that's how Mexico started getting power. Because just like every war, it's geographical locations, you know, like it's this geography that wins it. So that happened, and then the closer you are to the border, the more intense the shit gets, because like that's like Mexico side, because that's where you want to be, because that's the easiest, like you're holding the best territory. Right. So if you're at the south, well, like
it's harder for you to.
Yeah, like you're still gonna have to go up, but if you're right there and you're like you can't pass these things, or I run this territory. If you want to bring drugs across this, you have to pay me a tax. Then you're getting more and more tax, and they were fighting for that. And there was cartels in Mexico, like 6 or 5 different cartels in Mexico that were fighting for control, basically. And El Chapo was one of them, the Sinaloa cartel. And he actually, like, he won. You know, he created, like, an agency in between them, like he did straight mafia style shit.
But now El Chapo is in prison in the U.S.,
in the U.S. He got extradited to the U.S.
Yeah, okay.
But, like, all that to say...
But apparently, like, he still runs some shit.
Yeah. Well, he's got kids. I forget how many kids he's got, but I think he's got, like, 6 sons or something like that.
Damn, okay.
But yeah, he's got a lot. But like all that to say is that when I went to Mexico, my family lives in Monterrey, which is close to the border. Like it's the biggest city. It's the second biggest city in Mexico, and it's north. It's more north than Mexico City. Okay. So that place, when I went, I got into some like altercations with gang people and stuff like that, which were fucking scary. I'm not gonna lie. Like having like a M16 pointing at your face is like you're not used to that, like being a Canadian kid.
And how old were you when this was happening?
I was like 16, 17.
Okay.
And like even the army pulls you over as well, because it's like the cops are paid. So like there's a couple of those stories, but I've been in altercations where like, you know, I either get a gun pointed at me, someone like shows me a gun or whatever it is, all of those things, which are like pretty scary. And I've also, when I was there, people were like dying, people were getting shot up. And like, you know, like they were finding bodies in the street, like that street, they found like pieces of arms and stuff, but it was all like gang related incidents. The scariest part about that was that there's street gangs, right? And the street gangs aren't like the cartel. The cartel, like, for lack of better words, are more respectful and they keep it between cartel business. But street gangs, what they do is that they literally try and extort you. So you have a store, and they come up to your store and they're like, yo, you owe me rent. Like, you owe me $100, right? Protection and stuff. Where the cartel's not necessarily doing that. Right. And these street gangs are doing that, and they're terrorizing people. They're literally going into your house and saying, give me your money and stuff like that. So they're doing, like, low-level thug shit. Okay. And that's the scary part, because that's when like your aunt gets hit in the face with a pistol and like stolen from, or that's when the guy goes in a Pizza Hut and kills the guy and grabs all the money and stuff. Right. It's those petty thugs that do it. I don't like, no disrespect, don't come kill me.
Yeah, but okay, yeah, cartels are more like big and they do big business. You know what I mean?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
it makes sense the way I see it.
But tell me about like one of the experiences. I remember you telling me we had a sauna talk.
Yeah.
And you were telling me about like how you went into the club.
Yeah, that one was the crazy one.
Okay, was that the scariest one?
No, there's one scarier than that.
Okay, but say the club and then say the scarier one.
All right, I was with, like 3 or 4 of my cousins, and you know, like here we have like supper clubs as well. So it's like you eat, then after it turns into a club, right? So I was at like a supper club chilling, and this is the time where it's like they were telling people like don't go out, like it's dangerous to go out. Because the people who are going out are involved in like drug stuff, or like, you know, they're gangsters, so don't go out. But like we're coming from Canada, my other cousin's coming from the US, and we're there and we're like, come on, let's go out. We're not just gonna stay in, so let's go out. So we end up going to this place that's supposed to be nice and like all of these things. It's a supper club, so it's like starts off with norteño music, which is like accordions, and it's like rancher, like Mexican music. Okay. But then after a certain amount of time, we eat all that stuff, it starts getting to reggaeton, it starts getting funky and stuff, and you're like, yeah, it's some Daddy Yankees playing and shit. We're like, ooh, okay, I feel this. Clear the tables, people are dancing and stuff. I'm like, damn, that's cool. And then at one point, like, there's these porrucas, but there's these beautiful women that walk in and they're dancing on the dance floor, and they're like straight models, like you would like straight Latina models, like gorgeous, you know? And I'm like, damn. And me being who I am, I'm like, yo, I'm gonna go talk to these people. You know, I'm gonna go talk to these women. It's like a girl at 4 or 5, like all dancing, and I'm like, yo, I'm this, you know, I'm a different person. I could go in, I could talk to them and be like, I'm not from here.
You could say you're attracted to them.
No, but I could be like, I'm not from here. I could play that card, you know, and be like, yo, I'm Canadian. Like I'm interested. You want to know, get like things like that. Let's say. And anyways, they're super nice too. I remember they were super nice, and I was like, "Shit, this is dope! Like they're cool." Then my cousin comes in, and then we're talking to them. And everything's going great, and like I think like 5-10 minutes in, we keep talking and having a good time. Then some guy comes, he's like dancing, and he comes to me, and he just
was he actually dancing?
Yeah, sure. Like because we're all like dancing and talking, so he's like dancing. He comes, and he just like taps me on the shoulder, like really nice, taps me on the shoulder, and he's like, "Yo, man." I'm like, "What's up?" He's like, "These girls are with me." I'm like, cool, man. That's really awesome, man. My name's Kevin. Like, nice to meet you and stuff. And he's like, no. Like, these girls are with me. And I'm just like, what is this guy talking about? Like, obviously all in Spanish. I'm like, what is this guy talking about? Then he lifts up his shirt. He's like, these girls are with me. And he had like literally like a pistol right there. And he was just like, he's like, you see what the fuck I'm talking about? Like, legit. And I was just like, all right, cool. You know, and I literally, right from there, I went to the bathroom, and my cousin followed me. I was like, what the fuck, bro? Like, it was intense. And then after that, like, we scoped out the scenario. These guys were like having bottles in like the VIP area, and they were like gangsters, and these girls were with the gangsters. And I went to like talk to them, and the guy's like, don't talk to them. Yeah. So that was pretty like, you know, you're just dancing, you think you're doing your thing, and then after you're just like, oh shit, like, my bad. But the guy was nice, at least. You know, he didn't do anything to me. Right. Yeah. So that's one of them, which is like, there's another story after that, but it doesn't matter. But the fucking scariest story to me was when I went to my uncle's funeral. Okay. My uncle actually got misdiagnosed pills for like a thyroid gland, and he ended up dying. So that's fucked up. There's a lot of deaths in the U.S. actually, believe it or not, that are from being prescribed the wrong drug.
Okay, this happened in the U.S.
No, this happened in Mexico. But I mean, like, even in the U.S., like, I think it's the number 2 cause of death is because of misdiagnosis and giving prescribed wrong drugs, which is pretty fucked up.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Like, imagine the doctors are killing you, legit. You're like, oh yeah, I have pain here. They give you something, you react to it, and you die. Yeah. So my uncle died, rest his soul, and then we were going to his funeral. We were dressed to the nines, obviously. So we were like in a suit. We're going to his funeral. We're coming back from his funeral. It's like maybe 11 o'clock at night. And we're going in this, my cousin's SUV. We keep going. And sometimes they have roadblocks, right? And they have roadblocks, but usually traffic just circulates. And all they do is stop cars that are nice cars or nicer looking cars. Because it's the army, right? So the army wants to see the drug dealers or the gangsters, basically. They're driving like Hummers, they're driving like sick ass cars. So they do these blocks to catch them, you know. And then when they catch them, they basically go in shootouts with each other. Either they catch them, which rarely they do, or they shoot them out and like they try and run away and stuff, which happens a lot. Like back in the day, it still happens now, but that's what happened. So since we were dressed to the nines in like a nice-ish SUV, 4 dudes in it, we're trying to go through the like checkpoint, and then they're like, no, like come to the side, because they're like, what, like these guys are different, you know what I mean? So we go to the side. I like, again, it's the same time. I'm like 16. I like speak Spanish, but I got an accent. So I go, and then my cousin turns around, the one who's driving and lives in Mexico. He turns around and he's like, don't you say a fucking word. I don't want him to recognize your accent. Because sometimes, like, this is what he told me. I don't know if he was just scaring me, but it's like sometimes the army isn't even the army. You know what I mean? Like, it could be like, he wanted to make sure it was actually the army. Because the army's for you, but let's say someone's imposter in the army. Then, like, he was tripping. He's like, I don't want him to recognize your accent or anything like that. Just don't say a fucking word. I do the speaking. I'm like, all right. So we get there, and I right away, and by the way, they're in ski masks, right? Because they don't want you to see them.
Yeah, exactly. To not recognize them. Yeah.
Exactly. So they're in ski masks, and then they're like, everyone get out of the car. So you get out of the fucking car. So it's 11 o'clock at night. You could just picture this. 11 o'clock at night, I get out of the car. Ski mask. And like
M16s. And
then I get out of the car. I turn around to see. There's literally a Jeep with a mounted Humvee. A guy like with a mounted like whatever 45 caliber sign on a Jeep like that.
Ready to unload if anything.
And then there's I swear to God, there's like 8 There's like 8 army dudes with ski masks and just like M16s or whatever, like, you know, automatic things. And literally like gangster, like, I don't know if it was grenades or whatever, but they were strapped to the nines, you know what I mean? Army boots and everything. They're ready to go. And I'm just there like back to them, just like tripping motherfucking balls. Then I just hear him talking to my cousin, like, where are you going? Like, what are you doing? He's like, oh, I'm coming from my uncle's funeral, all of these things, blah, blah, blah. Who are these people? They're my cousins. And there's like, guys, okay, give me your ID. Give me your papers. Everything checks out. He's like, all right, go. Smooth. That's it. But for me, I was tripping balls, dude. Like, I was like, oh, my God. It was fucking crazy for me. And, yeah, that's that. And then for me, that's the most intense story. There's other, like, small, intense ones where, like, if you would have went to that Pizza Hut on Friday, you probably, like, you would have been in a holdup, might have got shot and stuff like that, which is pretty crazy as well. Things like that.
It looks so like ruthless on TV shows, but it's like you never know if it's like actually like that or not.
Yeah, no, I know what you mean, but it like,
but
there was a time where it's ruthless. Now it's a lot better because I still have family there, right? So now they could go out, and now they party, and now they have fun and stuff like that, which before they couldn't. Like they tell me, like, come, like it's not like it used to be.
Yeah, but like I'm pretty sure Honduras has like the highest homicide rate.
Yeah.
And I remember writing a paper like when I was doing one of my politics classes in university, and one of the reasons why it never like cleans up, or, like the government can never get like a strong hold and like start cleaning things up and like getting rid of the cartel and everything is because in Latin America there's a lot of clientelism, it's called, and what that means, it's a political term for like just buying people out. Like everybody just buys each other out. So it's like even if you're a politician, you want to come after the cartel, for instance, you just end up getting paid. You know what I mean? And everybody just pays each other. And I remember that being the same case when I went to Iran. Like if you get stopped by a cop,
exactly.
Like you could like slip them money and they'll fuck off. You know?
Yeah.
And it's funny, man, to have that culture. It's because people get like so underpaid that you have
like,
to.
Like I agree with everything that you're saying. Like for sure, like people get paid and all those things. But I also think it's top level too. I think the bigger guys, like the presidents and the governors or whatever you want to call them, I think they're getting paid off as well.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah.
So they don't want it to happen either because I think also presidents of other countries want that to happen. Like that's my 2 cents. That's my belief. You know, like I think the U.S. First of all, like what is it, like 80% of bills have cocaine on them or blood? I think it's cocaine.
Yeah, is it? That's not a myth. It's like
maybe it is a myth, but even if it is a myth, it's a pretty fucked up myth.
Yeah.
But all I'm saying is that like I think the U.S. is down for all these drugs to come in, like it or not, because even the war on drugs and all of these things, you know, they do create money. All of the, like even now in Canada, the legalization of cannabis, there's a huge thing of marijuana. So I think not only is there like the petty the cop taking like $1,000, but also there's a president that's getting like 50 million to be like, I don't let this law pass, you know. And I think all of those things create that environment as well. Like they make sure that environment is there.
It is. It definitely is.
Because like, dude, I just saw something in the elevator, like they want to put 4G on the moon.
What do you mean 4G?
4G, like what is it called? Like the signal for your phone. They want to put on the moon so that the entire world can have it. Like Nokia's working on it, and they're like, I didn't read the whole thing because it was just like a slider. But they're like, yeah, Nokia's close to getting 4G on the moon so the entire world could have it.
Wait, I don't
like
understand.
antennas on the moon.
Oh yeah, and what is that gonna do? It's gonna give everybody fucking Wi-Fi or something?
Yeah, it's gonna give everybody internet access. So what they also want to do is do micro satellites, and like they put satellites all around the world, and they create this like sphere around it, like not big ones but smaller ones. Yeah. They create this sphere around so you could give internet to the entire world, basically. So in Africa, in the desert of Africa, you could have fucking internet.
I definitely feel like Wi-Fi is it's gonna be an antiquated technology. Like it's just gonna expire. Like soon, like there's gonna be a time where
because it's gonna be like internet, or what do you mean?
No,
Wi-Fi.
It's just gonna disappear in the sense that like our kids are not gonna know like what Wi-Fi is. Like I feel like.
So what is it gonna be replaced by?
I just feel like everyone's gonna have like internet, like or data rather.
Yeah, exactly. So like the internet, like the 4G. 3G.
You just connect it right away. Like you don't have to connect to a Wi-Fi. It's gonna be like, oh, back in my days, I used to connect to a Wi-Fi. We used to go to the Tim Hortons and connect to the Wi-Fi. We weren't as lucky and privileged as you kids were.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Exactly.
That's going to be the talk that people are going to have.
So like if we could do that, like create satellites for the entire world and stuff like that, and I'm just like, I feel like we have the resources in a certain way to get rid of like the paying off and all those things, like problems, let's say, that there are in countries, Because like if we were to want to, we could.
Okay, yeah, you're saying the technology is gonna.
I mean, technology is fucking amazing.
Yeah.
And now we're talking about that we can't change a country because they're getting paid off.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I don't think.
No, yeah, but it's two different.
I know.
Topics.
It is, but it's just like there's
but
power.
It's definitely going to facilitate a lot of scenarios for like third world countries. You know what I mean? The access to information and all that. I think everybody could conceptualize how technology could better people's lives. But let's play a little bit of poker. All right, I haven't played poker in forever, so we're just gonna go ahead. You want to do small blind, big blind?
Sure.
Okay, I'll be small
like we're
blind.
always gonna be having blinds.
Okay, go for it. Okay, I already took out one card. Should we flip or do you want to raise?
No, I'm good.
Intala habibti. Oh no.
Was there any other comments for our podcast?
I don't know. I'm trying to think. Okay, when you're ready, just say you're ready.
You know what's funny is about poker.
What?
I'm not a poker player, to be honest.
I'm not either.
But whenever I do play, I just get super impatient and I just start being super aggressive.
Yeah.
Like by going all in, not aggressive like towards the people, and I kind of like want to get myself out. You know what I mean? I don't know.
Yeah, you don't have the patience.
Yeah.
I see what you mean, because poker is a long ass game. Like you need to like have 5 hours of your time dedicated to it, at least.
Yeah, you got to be playing the slow game.
Yeah, exactly. It's a super slow game, but we're gonna play recklessly because we're on a podcast and we're just trying to have a conversation and do something at the same time. Oh, so you called 3? Yeah. I'm a G. I'll equal.
So you gotta put 4, right?
I gotta put 4. Damn, son. Okay, can we move on to the next round of who wants to be the next best podcaster and guest podcaster? Okay, boom. Damn, son. Maybe we should have a camera that shows this. Yeah, eventually we will have a camera that's on top.
Shit.
That could see. I have to think of better games to play on a podcast that's like more fun. Like this, like
Jenga would be fucking fun.
Jenga? Which one's
Jenga.
that? Jenga?
That's what it's called, right? The one where like you have all the blocks and then you pull out the blocks and it like crashes and shit. That'd be fun.
It'd be really
you need less mind games and more like doing games.
It's true. You're right. I'll think of that maybe for the next podcast.
Because then after you're just talking, shit goes and then everyone just trips balls. It'd be funny.
Yeah, but then it kind of sucks when it all falls down. Radio, when it all falls down.
Yeah, exactly. Kanye West.
Okay.
I was thinking the same thing. Kanye, see, we even sponsoring you, motherfucker.
Exactly. Okay, did I sacrifice a card? Okay, no. Here, boom. And
Yo,
then
stop looking at the cards, man.
bro,
I saw you.
Chill, bro.
I saw you.
Chill.
We didn't even do a check or anything.
Oh,
this guy doesn't even know how to play poker.
It's true.
It's alright.
Forgive me.
It's alright.
Lord, forgive me for my sins. Okay.
Alright, let's do it. Big money.
Big money business. Don't throw it on the thing because I feel like the mic is going to pick up the sound and people are going to be like, oh my God, this is like so annoying. Like Chimp Talk is like, oh my God, they don't know what they're doing. It's like so noisy.
I listened to the producer / wizard behind the curtain.
Okay, yeah, I don't know how the sound sounds like, but he doesn't have his headphones on, so he wouldn't know, dog. Okay, so are you ready to bet more chips? These are the final cards.
I put those. You called me?
I called you. You ready, B?
No, I'm good. Let's do it.
You check?
Yeah.
I check. Ladies and gentlemen, please reveal your cards. You have queens.
I got a pair of queens and a
I
nines.
got a pair of fives.
That's what's up, bro. Give me all
That's
that
what's
money.
up. Damn, cuz. Where'd you get that from? Big money business. Look at the statistics. Yeah, I'm super excited to start this new chapter of my life where I'm going to move out and be a free bird.
Because I'm as free as a bird.
So, tell me, Habibi, how's
Tell me,
everything?
Habibi. Everything very nice.
Yo,
Very nice, Habibi.
how much, what time is it? It's what?
20 minutes.
It's only been 20 minutes?
That's good. Yeah, that's a long time. So can I talk about something?
Yeah, you can talk about everything you want.
About everything I want. Okay. I want to talk about one thing that I'm super obsessed with, okay?
Okay, go.
Which is like, there's a lot of things I'm super obsessed with. But we're going to drop an affiliate link so we can make that big money. But there's 2 books, okay? .com Secrets and Expert Secrets by Russell Brunson. And literally these 2 books, I'm obsessed with them because I read it and I understand everything that the internet game has to do, like even podcasts, everything in the internet game. He like sums it all up in these 2 books. Like one book is like how to find your voice, you know, like what kind of character you want to portray online. You know, it's not about being inauthentic or anything like that, but it's more about like what stories should you tell? You know, how can people resonate with your stories? Like, and it helps you do that, like the psychology behind it. And then another one's like how to implement it. But it's like 2 books that are like 200 pages each, and I've read them once, and I keep reading them, and I just keep reading. Like I'm literally rewriting the book practically and doing things. So what I wanted to say is like I find it insane that sometimes you have books that you know if you apply this book is going to change the fucking life, like your life, like insanely, if not like the world. And I find like, I'm curious, do you ever have books like that you're just like, damn, this fucking book, if I understand every fucking sentence in this book, I'm going to be a beast?
Yeah, well, I feel like back then, like when I would read self-help books, I would feel that way. But a lot of the times you live off, you get a little high of a self book, like for a couple of days, and then you just like kind of, you take maybe like one golden nugget out of that self-help book, and you kind of carry it forward with you, but everything else like kind of like loses steam.
Yeah,
in a way.
but like this is more a marketing book and less a self-help book, so maybe it's because it's more practical.
Exactly.
Like
That's
it's
what I
more
was gonna say.
implementation.
Yeah, exactly. Whereas like self-help books, it's like it's almost like a lot of it is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like for instance is like be grateful.
Well, just like let's say a fiction book, right? Even a fiction book, like you might read it a couple of times, more than once, but over a period of your life, but you probably won't like reread it 10 times, like in a row, because you're like, damn, this is fucking so good that I need to implement this shit.
Maybe you haven't, but there's definitely some people that would.
I believe,
yeah, because the thing about fictional books is that they'll tell a story,
and there's a lesson behind it.
Yeah, exactly. The lessons behind those stories are what people like really love, you know.
Yeah.
And I want to become more of a fictional reader.
Yeah.
Whereas I'm more of a nonfiction reader.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I need to switch things up. You know, I can't always be reading like self-development.
Have you read The Alchemist?
No.
Like it's one of the few fiction books I've read. There's like a handful that I've read, but read The Alchemist, man. It's fucking amazing. Like it's really amazing, by Paulo Coelho. It's really amazing book.
Do you have a lot of books? I have like maybe 20 books, 20, 25.
No, I got like a bookcase. I got a decent amount, like probably 100 or 50, something like that.
I wanted to ask you about appliances.
About like kitchen appliances and stuff?
No, but like, what do you have and shit? But
I don't have any. I sold them all.
Oh, yeah? You sold everything? So you're just coming in with your bed, pretty much?
Yeah, pretty much. Okay. Like a room.
Okay.
Yeah. And I got stuff for like the kitchen and stuff like that, but I don't got appliances because I wasn't gonna like bring like a stove in my room.
Right.
You know, I sold everything, and plus it gave me a lot of like hassle free. The people that came in bought it. I got money. Like that's kind of what it is. Okay. But you gotta Kijiji that shit. Unless it comes with it, you gotta Kijiji that shit. Well, I ain't about to drop like $2,000 on a fucking perfect oven.
Trust me, bro. I have like we're gonna be strapped.
I believe you.
Like I have
Iranians, man. The Persians are fucking crazy with that shit.
No. I was thinking about this. I was like, damn.
Habibi, darling, we have 15 condo visits in 3 hours.
I know.
Press the gas.
No, we have like 5 today. But yeah, Persians don't say Habibi. I just have to clarify that. It's just me that says it all the time because I like it. But
what's their equivalent of Habibi?
I don't know, but like you can say like Kevin June or.
Oh yeah, June is like
June,
deer.
But yeah, it's like deer. But like you would say that, I would say that to a girl more than I would say that to a guy. It kind of sounds weird if you say it to a guy, to be honest.
Yo, pass me some cards.
Okay, let's go. Let's move on. But I'm really super excited because the one that I want is like near here, near work.
Yeah.
So it'd be just ideal to like just crush work and then just be able to like walk home. You know, and just spend 15 minutes of transportation.
For sure, man.
I'm tired of fucking.
Yo, you got to read these 2 books I'm talking about because even about about the podcast, like it's about traffic and all of these things. Like the internet game is about traffic, right? So traffic is people that are online. So the 4 views or the 5 views or the 5 people that listen to it, those are traffic. Like where did they come from? And you know, like it explains all of that and how you could get more and how you can monetize it and all these things. And it's concepts that we already know. Like for sure we already know. But he packages it in a book, so I think it'd be really beneficial, like for a lot of people.
You know what's funny? There was a time, like before this book right now, I was reading 2 other books, but I was just like cycling it. Like
what book right now?
Right now, I'm reading the 12 rules. The 12 rules of life.
Jordan Peterson.
Antidote to Chaos.
Yeah.
And then but what I realized is that like, sometimes you get like kind of bored.
Yeah, for sure.
So you like it's good to like read like 2 books
At the same time. Yeah.
Like they have different like tones.
Yeah, I agree.
So like you never get like bored, right?
Yeah, so you could be like, what am I feeling?
Yeah, exactly. Like you go with what you're feeling.
Yeah.
So I need to add another book. I ordered one book on Amazon. It's like how to manage yourself, and it's like a really small booklet. Faraz Zahabi recommended that book, and I was like, I gotta have it. He's like, this is probably the best book to manage yourself.
Who's Faraz Zahabi?
Zahabi, he's the GSP's coach.
Oh, okay, sweet.
Yeah, I follow his channel, and he does like amazing breakdowns of like MMA techniques.
Dope.
He's like really good at explaining it.
Dope, and he recommends that book. I think like one of the good things about having multiple books is that like you're feeling it, like you're saying, like you're hungry for the information, and sometimes you're not necessarily hungry for that type of information. Like if you're about to go to bed, you might not want to read like an implementation book or like how to do these exercises because you're like you're not gonna do it.
Yeah, you're not in that mental state.
You're not. Yeah.
And then you guilt trip because you're like, I'm not in the mental state.
And then you don't read because you're guilt tripping.
Yeah,
so you start associating guilt tripping with reading.
Yeah.
Where if you have like multiple books,
it's just that book. It's like, okay, you're gonna want to open an Excel sheet, and you're in bed. You're like, bruh.
Yeah, exactly. You're like, nah. Or like when you're 2 months on the same book, like fucking burn the book, dude. Like you don't want to read the book. Like stop reading the book or put it down at least.
I'm trying to think if there was a book that I put on hold and then went back to. I feel like there is one, but I forgot.
Probably, for sure.
Okay, so
you're big blind, my friend.
Big blind, big money business. Look at the statistics.
Wouldn't it just suck if like people just start, like we just folded the whole time? There's only 2 people.
I fold, and then we have to restart.
Yeah, exactly. Fold, restart, fold, restart.
We should at least get this guy to play.
He likes being the man behind the curtains.
Yeah, exactly. And okay, so you call.
Yeah.
All right. So I burn one, pull one out.
Goddamn, son.
So it's my turn?
Yeah.
I check.
Oh, I'll check too. You know how this is going.
Okay. Boom. 6.
Oh,
okay,
shit,
bro, we got to keep talking. If there's people listening to this, they'll be like, oh my God, these guys are like so like, oh my God. Okay.
Is that how the viewers sound? All 5 of them?
That's my demographic. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah, exactly.
Okay. So I raise by 1.5 million. No, I'm kidding. Okay, so 2 blues. I don't know what this means. But,
2 blues.
There's value, right?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
All right, so. Sorry.
Okay, tell me the fucking crazy story.
Crazy story?
Yeah, a crazy story.
A crazy story?
Yeah. We feel like you were gonna.
I can tell you a crazy fucking story.
Okay, I'm down.
The first time I went bipolar.
Okay, and how was that?
The first time, not the last time, but the first time.
Okay.
And so a long time ago, even to this day, I'm afraid of heights.
Right.
To a certain extent.
Okay.
And I was 18, maybe 19, 18. So yeah, this one time I was chilling with my friend. We went out in the morning. He's like, dude, wouldn't it be sick if we went skydiving? I was like, yeah, man, it'd be fucking dope. He's like, are you down? I'm like, yeah, I'm down. That's it. He's like, okay, 2 months later, he's like, next week we're going. Like, I already booked us everything. And I'm like, what? Are you serious? And then the next week comes. I was like, okay. I was like, not saying anything. I was like, next week comes. I'm like, I hope this doesn't happen or whatever. Next week comes. He's like at my house with 2 buddies that I don't even know. They're like, yeah, we're going now. I was like, oh shit. I go in the car. I'm like, shit, this is actually going down. And like the reason why I was like, yeah, I'm down, because first of all, I was like, yo, I'm gonna break through my fear of heights. I'm gonna break through it, man. Like I'm just gonna destroy it like completely. So then I'm going, and like, man, the car ride there, it was so funny. Everyone's talking, everyone's having a good time, listening to music, getting to know each other and stuff. Then we're like, and then the GPS says like 5 minutes, and we're just like dead silence, like no one's fucking talking. It was our first time, everyone. But then like 5 minutes there, everyone's like, oh shit, like talking a little bit less. Then we ease up. And have you ever been skydiving?
No, never.
Dude, it's a pretty fucking crazy experience. And like, so then we get there, and it's like, it was in Farnham, which is in like the South Shore or someplace off the 10 or 30. And you go in, it's like a farm area. There's landing strips, and there's little planes and stuff. And we go into this place, and there's literally kids. There's literally kids, like 12 or 13-year-old kids, rolling up the parachutes, rolling up the parachutes and putting them back in the bag and stuff like that. So it's like this family run type of thing, like skydiving place.
Wait, kids are allowed to do that?
Well, I guess here they were. I don't know if they were practicing. I don't know if that was like a practice.
Kids can't even go on a freaking roller coaster.
No, they're not allowed to do that. But I mean, like the kids were like rolling up the parachute. I don't know if that was like just practicing to learn how to do it,
or
if they were actually like, "Hey, kid, you do that," and then give it to this guy. But either way, I remember that making me trip. I'm like, "Is it this fucking kid?"
Or they had landed and they were like putting it back in the bag.
No, they didn't land. I don't think.
No,
I don't think so. Anyways, I just remember like seeing this movie, and then they're like, "Sign this fucking piece of paper," and it's like literally
we're
a death.
not responsible for your death. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a death waiver. You're like, sign this piece of paper. Anyways, that's not even close to the bipolar. But then, so the craziest part is like you go in a plane, and then it's like it's a plane like exactly like an army plane where you just have like a rectangle box, basically kind of like a bus seat, but a really crappy bus seat, like, you know, like aluminum, just so you could sit down, and they shove people in. So you open the door of the plane and people get in, like there's like 10 people on each side, so and you're literally like this, like you're like this, so everyone's like this, and then after you start going, and there's a big red light. Then after you're going up, everyone's chill, everyone's talking, you're talking to my guy. Called him Bruce Willis because my guy was like shaved head, like fucking gangster. Oh, yeah. So I was like calling him Bruce Willis. And so we're going up, we're talking, everyone's chilling. And then as soon as the plane like equalizes, right? As soon as it stops like climbing in elevation, like everyone goes like dead silent. I'm like, oh fuck. You know that feeling when you get when you're like, boom?
Yeah, like your heart goes like,
it's like, Duck. And I was like, oh shit. And then after the light goes green. So then I was like, oh, fuck. Then I realized again, I was like, yo, this plane ain't landing. Like, I've been on planes before, but this one ain't landing. Like, it is, but not with me in it. Like, I'm jumping off of this motherfucking plane. So I was like fucking tripping. I was sweating. I'm already afraid of heights. I'm looking down. All I see is clouds. I'm like fucking tripping balls. Turns out I was the last one in the plane. So you
watch everybody jump?
Which means I'm first one out.
Oh, no way.
So the light goes green. The guy opens the fucking door.
It's right next to you.
Dude, it's insanity. It's like fucking crazy. You can't hear anything. The guy's yelling at me. He's like, get on your knees. I'm like, what? Get on your knees. I'm like, okay. So I get on my knees. And literally right there, like fucking 4 feet away, is a gaping fucking hole. Like it's the door and it's just gaping. Like you're what I think you're like 15, 18,000 feet in the sky. And he tells me to get on my knees, and I'm like 4 feet away from it because I'm afraid. And he's like, get closer. And I'm like, nah, bro. He's like, get closer. This guy was gangster. So I get closer and closer, and he still hasn't attached me.
Oh, no
like he still hasn't. I swear to God, he still hasn't attached me. He's like, get closer. So then finally I get closer.
If the door's open and I'm not attached to the man that's gonna pull the parachute, I'd be fucking tripping.
Dude, I was tripping balls.
Do you have a parachute when this is happening?
No. You have a harness. You have a suit and a harness because he hooks onto you and he's got the parachute.
But when the door opens, you don't have it.
You don't have it. He's like, get on your fucking knees. And then I'm tripping balls.
Trip and you just
dude, that's what I'm saying. So that's what I was tripping. I'm like, get on your knees. I'm like, aight. Like lying parallel. He's like, your knees, idiot.
You're like on your back holding the floor. He's like, your knees, dumbass.
I was dying. But the reason why is because you have to get on your knees like that because he comes in and he goes like that and he straps you. Mm-hmm. So like it's like he's literally got to baby you and like go on you and then strap you like right. This.
Okay.
So like that was the reason why. But then, so finally I'm a little bit closer because I was like, yo, fucking strap me in. So then he finally straps me in. He's like pushing me to the edge. Then I was like this, man. I had my knees on the line of like steel, and I was looking down and it was clouds. Like, it was clouds. I did not see anything. It was just clouds. That's the moment I had bipolar, man. I swear to God. Because I was there and I'm in the present. I'm like, holy fuck.
It's not bipolar, bro. You just don't want to die. Like, everybody would react that way. Like, you don't want to jump. I get it.
No, but this is what I was going to say, though. So, like, that's normal. Like, I don't want to jump. But what wasn't normal, the first time I ever experienced this, was, like, literally another fucking voice in my head came in. And was like, what the fuck are you doing? Like literally, like I was scared and all these things. And another voice came in and was like, what the fuck are you doing? Then after like another, like my other voice was like, I already paid for this. I swear to God, it was like, I already paid for this. I have to do this. Then another voice was there and was like, you don't want your friends to think that you're a pussy. And like, you can't back out now. And then there was like this, like a super ego voice just being like, you're gonna, like, don't do this. Like, you're gonna fucking die. Then the guy's just like, 3, 2, 1. And I just like, and it was insanity, bro. It was insanity. You're flying at like 160, you're just, and we're doing flips and shit. Like, oh, fuck. It's insane, bro.
Did you like open up?
Yeah, and then like, so then you flip, and then you're like, you open up, you're like chilling, you're like, and like even breathing,
It's hard.
you can't breathe.
Yeah, it's just
You have to do this. That's how you breathe. Because I was like, and I started choking because it dried out my throat like instantly. And then that was hilarious. And then finally you're there, you're like, oh shit. And then everything's like, let's say you see like a lake or whatever it is, and then it just gets bigger and bigger and bigger, like, you know? Yeah. So you're flying so fast, it gets bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. And the dopest part is when he pulls the parachute, you're just like, goosh. And then you feel that weightlessness times a million. Like, people literally throw up because it's a G-force, and then you feel weightless. Then you're just chilling like a boss, dude. Like, that's the coolest part. You're chilling like a boss. And then he's like, boom. And you're like, bah! Like, you're flying in circles and does the other thing. My guy was crazy. He let go. He's like, he's like, what? He's like, because there's rangs. He's like, do you want to control it? Like, the ranks, like, so that I could turn and do things like that. I'm like, nah, man, it's cool. Like, you're the professional. I'll let the professionals handle it. He's like, well, someone's got to. Let's go the ranks. We start, like, fucking spinning, dude. And I was like, oh, shit. And so I grabbed it. I swear, my God, was crazy. So I grabbed it, and that was cool, though. So I grabbed it, and I started doing it. And, like, anyways, it was really fucking fun. And you're just chilling for, like, 10 minutes, going down. Then finally, when you come close to the ground, like, you're actually fucking flying. So the guy's like, start running. And you're like, what? It's like, start fucking running. So you start running because you literally have to hit the ground running. Oh, like, okay. You literally
have to go like this in the air.
Yeah, you have to like start balling, like,
so that you hit the floor running.
So you hit the floor running, but I came in like completely on the wrong step. So it's like, go! I swear. But the guy was like pro enough to like kind of like pick me up a little bit. Like, I fell, but then I was able to like carry myself a bit. Okay, yeah. But yeah, it was intense. I'm sweating just thinking about it.
Oh, goddamn. I don't know if I would want to do that, man. Like, to be honest, insane. like it's something that I have to face too, actually, but I'm just like never ready for it.
But I swear to God, when you land, you're on the biggest high ever. Like, literally, you could take on a train. Like, you would die, but you feel like you could take on a train. Like, you could stand in front of the train and stop it. Yeah, like this train. Yeah. Like that. Yeah. Because you're so high, you're like, let's do this again. Because like, another $500. You're like, okay, never mind. Can't do it. But yeah, it's fucking sick, man. I'm not gonna lie. But I'm still afraid of heights, so it didn't really work. Because it's not the same thing.
Remember when we got when we went to the 18th floor? Even that, like, sometimes I look down. Yeah. And I was just like, whoa! Like, every time I look down, I feel this like, holy shit, I'm gonna fall.
Yeah, you get this disoriented feeling.
What amazes me, like, you're an engineer. Yeah. What amazes me is like these tall ass buildings, and how like the weather could be so awful, and like somehow like they've built this like square aerodynamic building that just like doesn't feel anything. Like, to me, what amazes me the most is glass.
Yeah, glass is crazy.
Glass, I don't get it, bro. Like sometimes there's storms, and I'm looking at the building, and it's fucking tall, and I'm like, yo, how does this like resisting?
Yeah, it is crazy, man.
And glass like scares me. I always feel like you can like push it and like it's gonna fall. Like,
yeah, it's gonna just like.
Like, what's the engineering behind that to make sure that it never falls? Like, they must be so sure and convinced.
Yeah, for sure, man. Like, there's safety factors like crazy.
Like, the calculation must be perfect for it to be like, okay, there's no way this glass is going to fall.
If it was perfect, we'd all be dead. It's more than perfect. It's like 10x perfect.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, they put safety factors on safety factors.
Exactly. It's so solidified, that engineering, that we just see high rises with like all these like glass.
And like, what I like to call it also, it's almost like the iceberg theory. It's like the iceberg, you see the tip of the iceberg, and you're like, damn, this is fucking sick. Like, I can't believe that it's doing all of this, like going through weather and stuff. But like underneath, there's like a shitload that's helping it, you know? It's the same thing with skyscrapers. They got this crazy ass foundation. So like, we're seeing the half that's stuck out. You're not seeing the half that's inside. So even though this thing's like, oh my God, it's going to fall, it's because you have this that's stuck in the ground, you know, like driven into the ground, that makes it able to do that. So it's not like it's just on the ground and then it's going to fall. It's like really deep. So it's like you're having this.
I get it.
You know, it's
Yeah,
crazy.
yeah, I could definitely envision that. What amazes me is the glass.
The glass,
windows.
yeah.
Like, is it like, I don't get it. Like, what did they use? Is it like super glue or?
Okay.
But like, what exactly is like holding the glass up against the building?
Yeah, well, probably like bolts, dude, nuts and bolts, and they got some type of some type of connection that's there
Is
for
it
sure.
bulletproof?
I guess it depends where, like what building. I can't speak for all buildings and all glass, but for sure they got some type of connection that does it, man. Even looking here, you could see around that there's glass. They got sockets and stuff. They do tests, right? So literally, like in labs.
I wonder if I would run towards it and just boom, like body slam it, if it would like.
Well, like this one right here for sure.
Yeah, this one right here for sure. But you know those buildings where it's just
like
glass?
the CN Tower, let's say. Like, have you been in the CN Tower where you're looking down?
Yeah, I have.
So you like how thick do you think that glass
no,
is?
That glass is really thick.
Yeah.
But
So like even if you were to jump, which you like, I did it. Like it's scary as fuck.
I wonder if like you body slam, like a glass window off of a high rise.
Yeah.
Like you run towards it and you just go boom.
No, I don't think it's gonna do anything.
No.
Like they gotta like. I hope they account for that.
Yeah, I hope so too.
They're like, oh shit, just one calculation we forgot to do. What if some dude, some idiot drunk
goes
dude
rogue and he's like, fuck
runs
this.
into this and like, yeah, I don't know.
Okay, so I called the two blues.
Yeah, so now we gotta show.
And you called it, so
Yeah.
we revealed the cards. I have a flush. Oh, so do you. But who has the higher
No,
flush?
we don't have a flush.
I have a flush, bro. I have a hearts.
Okay.
And there's 4 hearts. Oh,
yeah.
Okay, since you didn't know we had a flush,
1, 2,
you
3,
have a flush
4,
too?
5. I went though
How?
because mine's higher.
Is that how it works?
Yeah.
We need a poker professional to come in here.
Yeah. That's cool, man.
Fine, bro.
I like winning, bro.
Okay, there you go. That's for you.
Tell me a crazy story now. That was a pretty fucking crazy story.
Yeah, that is a pretty crazy story. I'm trying to think. I'm like, I hope I have enough life experience to share on the podcast.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe that's gonna be an issue in the future. I'm gonna have to go on a 1-year adventure and then come back on the podcast and be like, hey guys.
Or just like weekly adventures.
Yeah, I should.
Like I can shoot you in the kneecap one day and just have a crazy story.
That's one of the reasons I want to like try myself at stand up, because I feel like I have to experience something and like be able to talk about it.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
I've always, I don't know.
Tell me a crazy ass story. Don't think too much.
I'm trying to think of a crazy ass story.
This one time in band camp.
I for sure have all kinds of crazy stories. I just can't think of one right now. But yeah, I can't function like this. I need more structure. I have to have some questions lined up. But wait, how much time has it been?
Habibi, darling, I'm in. Do you have a question?
50 minutes.
50 minutes. And what time is it exactly?
What would you like to talk about? I'm in.
But we do have shit to do. So
Yeah.
120.
it's 1:20. Okay, yeah, actually
We got 10 minutes.
Yeah.
We hit the hour mark.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, boom. Okay, play something. 'Cause we don't talk anymore.
A little curiosity question for the viewers. You work in structure engineering. Is there different branches or something? How come you're not a specialist about buildings? I thought you build buildings for rich ass petro companies.
Yeah, I do. But like, what's the question? Like,
are there multiple branches of building engineers or structural engineer? And what is the difference between what you did and the ones that are making tall ass buildings?
yeah. So good. Yeah, good question. Actually, it's pretty simple. There's structural engineers that build, let's say, cities. So like the building that we're in right now, and they work with architects, right, to create all of this basically, and it's more habitable. So I would call it even building engineering. So that is a type of engineering, building engineering. So you have to think about the HVAC, the heating and ventilation, basically, and the entire like aerodynamics of the building. And in other words, there's more laws when it's occupancy, like when it's human occupancy, like if it's a theater and if it's all of those things, it's like a different law book. And that's a type of structural engineering as well. Like you could focus in that. Whereas for the structural engineer, it's still the same skeleton of the building, but you have to make sure that you account for all the weight inside. You work with the architect and all of that. And then the easier way, I would call it the easier way, is structural engineers that work for like industrial. So it's like, it's not people going in and out of this building every single day. So you don't have to like live up to all of those standards. Like, you know, if there's millions of people coming in here, it has to be like super safe. But it's more like, hey, we want to have this building so that we could take this massive drill and put it in the ground, right? And how does this work? So it's more like big engineering. You know, like if you're a kid and you ever watch those like construction shows where like, how did they get that done? And it's like a crazy, like, you know, it's like special case engineering industrial. So that's what I worked in. And the only reason why I say it's easier is because it's bigger and it's more simple in the fact that like what it's trying to do is accomplish like maybe one purpose, and like that. Yeah, I don't know if that makes sense.
Okay, so it's more like towards the practicality on the construction field, and
Exactly.
rather than having like the comfort for people.
Exactly, pretty much.
That's why pretty much you have like these les échelles, comment,
Yeah, ladders.
these ladders that aren't safe in the petro industry.
Exactly.
versus in the citizen places, pretty much.
Exactly. So like here, like there's the building code basically that you have to have like in and out, you know, egress, and ingress to make sure that like if it's on fire, people know how to get out, all of those things. Whereas in industrial applications where there's one guy that's going to go there every 5 years, you don't have to do the exact same things. You know what I mean? And that's basically how it is. Like that's what it is.
That's cool. That's very interesting.
It is cool, man. Knowledge is power. But applied knowledge is wisdom. Is that what the quote is?
I don't know.
All right.
What was I gonna ask you? Yeah. So yeah, actually, people were asking me like about the coaching that you do, and I know that you mentioned on the podcast that it was a solution-based coaching. But tell me what coaching has done for you as a person who received coaching advice from someone who is supposedly more experienced than you are in coaching. Like, tell me some what's the word that I'm looking for? Something that really benefited you in a way in your coaching experience.
I don't know.
You do have a coach, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, and you are in contact with him.
Yeah, every 2 weeks.
Every 2 weeks?
Every 2 or 3 weeks.
And you guys get on a phone call.
Yeah, and he coaches me.
Right. And you essentially tell him like all your goals and all the things you want to do.
Yeah, he already knows them all.
Yeah, and what's blocking you and whatnot.
He already knows them all. It's more like on a case-by-case basis. Let's say like, what stopped you this week? Or like, did you get what you wanted to get done this week?
Right.
But like, if I look just like more generally, what it is just like having someone who's like on your side for your success without their own agenda. So like your father, your mother, your sister, your friends, like it or not, they have their own agenda. You know, it's just like it's human nature.
Right.
Your mom is going to want you to do the best that you could do, but also in the safest way possible. If you're like, Mom, I want to be a fucking professional skydiver, and the chances of me dying is 50%. Like, most likely your mom's not gonna be super happy, like just naturally.
Or supportive, yeah.
You know, I'm gonna be what is those squirrel suits? I'm gonna fly and like fucking 80% of them die. Like most likely she's not gonna, like, she has her own agenda, keeping you safe, right? Like keeping her kids safe. Whereas a coach, you're like, this is what I want to fucking do, and then the person's like, alright, so let's get it done. Like there ain't nothing stopping you. Then you're there and you're like, well, yeah, there's stuff stopping me. Like this fucking person said I was ugly yesterday or whatever it is. I'm exaggerating, but like actual things like, you know, like, yeah, well, I don't have the skill to do this. Okay, well then how could you get that skill? How could you learn that? You know what I mean? So it's just having someone there without their own personal agenda and really just caring about like what you want to do and helping you get through it with the wisdom that they have has helped me a lot, because I realized like I'll get what I want as long as I work towards it. And I'm not trying to like fulfill other people's dreams. I try to fulfill my own. And then eventually you fulfill others by being happy, being a better version of yourself. And even if you don't, well, fuck the other people if they don't want you to be happy. You know, like fuck them. Who cares?
How much pressure do you feel to perform well in life in order to be a coach? Because you feel like you have to be eating well or training or advancing in your career or advancing and bettering your relationships around you. So how much did you feel the pressure of like having to live up to this ideal version of yourself in order to be more congruent when you're coaching people or clients?
Yes and no. And I used to feel that a lot more where like I have to be a multi-billionaire to ever be a coach, right? But then like as I got deeper and as I learned more and as I helped more people, being from the situation that I was in, not multi-billionaire, I realized that I could help people by being a coach without even having that level of status. I'm not saying that status won't help me be a better coach and all those things, but I realized that I could do it without it. And also another thing is that like, just look at the market, right? Look at people. So I've been to multiple coaches, and I went to a coach and I like here in Montreal, and I wasn't impressed. You know, I paid money. I actually asked for a refund for like half the class, like half, not the classes, but the sessions. And I wasn't impressed. And I was like, man, if this guy's coaching, this guy's helping lives, I could fucking do it, because like this was very shallow. This wasn't deep, you know, like I've literally read more books than him. And I feel like I'm genuinely want to help people more than him. Then I see people that are like, their website looks like it's from the 90s, which has nothing to do with it, but their website looks like it's from the 90s. They don't use any internet practice, and they're fucking changing lives. Like they're working with crazy people, you know? And I've like, since I went through coach training, I saw a bunch of different types, like the super successful entrepreneur coach who helps entrepreneurs and like has a crazy website and does marketing videos. Then I saw people that are like, hey, I live in BC in the forest and I'm like a deep spiritual coach. So like seeing all of that kind of took the pressure off of what I had in mind, you know, like as in like I have to be this external thing, and more of like what I want, like how I want to be, because ultimately how you want to be is how you're going to serve people the most. You know, like I wouldn't be because I don't want to be, I wouldn't be the best spiritual coach just yet, you know, yoga coach or anything like that just yet, because I haven't like fulfilled in that area, but I also don't like, I don't put my effort to that area, kind of.
Right. So do you feel like, okay, yeah, keep going.
No, but so all I'm saying is that like back in the day, I thought I had to have quote unquote my version of success. Now I realize I don't necessarily need that. Like I don't have to wait for that to help. I could help while getting that. You know, right. You don't have to wait for something and then you're going to do it. Just like the thing or the quote saying like, once I have money, I'll be able to give back. Or once I have this, I'm going to be a nicer person. Once I have that, like that's a fallacy. You don't have to do that. It's not once you have something. It's like do it right now and then you'll have it. Like you like music. Well, once I have a good career, I'll play music. No, play music and while you're going towards it. So it's the same thing.
Yeah, I feel like a lot of people fall into that fallacy, including myself. Like for instance, like I was always thinking like, oh, once I get the best career and I have this amount of money in my account, and I move out and I have this condo, then I'll be worthy enough of like love.
Exactly.
I'll be worthy enough of being like fulfilled. And then you catch yourself doing that and you're like, yo, what the fuck are you doing?
Exactly.
Like you're just like sabotaging yourself.
Exactly.
100%. Like once I reach this ideal state that's always out of reach, out of grasp, I'll be worthy enough of, you know what I mean? And that is very tricky, and you have to be very careful, because I felt like I was doing that a lot in the past. And then I kind of like realized it. Like in the past couple of months. I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you doing, man? Like,
yeah.
Just go out there. You're enough. Like, go for it. A lot of people feel like they're not enough. You know what I mean? How would you coach somebody through feeling like they're not enough? You know what I mean? They don't go get the career that they want because they feel like they're not good enough. They don't go get the relationship that they want because they feel like they're not enough, because they feel like they're not in the ideal state, in the ideal place, in the, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So how would you coach?
Like then again, it depends like on the scenario and everything like that. Right. But like just in that given frame, you're focusing on on what you don't have. Don't focus on what you don't have. Focus on what you do have. Or what you know what I mean? Like just that changes your frame of reference. So I'm not enough. You are enough. So you'd ask them, what do you have? You know what I mean? Like, what do you have? All these things. Or what do you want? And usually when you want some things, it's because you believe that you could get them, or that you have a skill, and that, you know, somehow you're going to be able to get this, whether you have a network, whatever it is. So there is a root. There is a seed there. And I would focus on that seed that is there, that potential that they do have, that they do believe in, and growing that seed, instead of focusing, well, I'm not this person, I'm not that person, I'm not enough, I'm not this, I'm not 6'4", I don't have 3 feet, you know, like instead of focusing on the material and also the not, you focus on what they do have or what they do want.
Yeah. And what helped me out a lot is writing shit down.
Yo, amen to that.
because I know you write a lot. I don't. I should write even more than I do right now. But every once in a while, when I'm fucking lost, every couple months, you're like, what the fuck, I'm lost.
Yeah.
Like you just lose track of everything.
Yeah.
And then it's like, then you almost write like this life purpose sheet. You know what I mean? Like, this is what I want to be. You know, this is the type of behavior I want to have. This is the type of character I want to have.
Yeah.
And you have to kind of look at what characters you admire in your role models. And it's funny because like I grew up not really having a role model in my life, and that's why like the like YouTube was so huge to me.
Yeah, me too.
And like looking up to all these digital role models, like how Joe Rogan, I felt like he was just a supernova of inspiration for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And now a lot of people are just orbiting around him, like creating podcasts, doing stand up, and myself included. You know, I feel like I graduated from the Joe Rogan University. You know, that's almost how I feel like. But like there's like Joe Rogan, there's like other people online that I just look up to. You know what I mean?
That's the beauty of the internet, man.
Yeah. But there's more than him, man. Like Jason Silva was cool back then. I got inspired by him because he did film and philosophy.
Dude, I met him. He's fucking cool.
Yeah, and you told me about that like at the event.
Yeah, it was really cool.
Yeah, that's super cool. Like he was cool. Russell Brand is amazing online.
Yeah, one thing I want to say about writing though, man, because like I think that could benefit a lot of people. Is like I'm reading this book, The Artist's Way, hashtag. And then the reason why I started reading it is because J. Cole talks about it in an interview. I'm a huge J. Cole fanboy, and he talks about like this book in an interview. So I ordered the book, and now I'm going through. It's like a 12-week course, and in the first week, the first thing she tells you to do, Julia Cameron, the book, the first thing she tells you to do is, this is for artists, right? And everyone's an artist. She says that everyone's an artist. As soon as you wake up, basically one of the first things you do in the morning is that you write down 3 pages of free flow, anything, even if you don't know what to write, right? I don't know what to write for 3 pages. She says you do that every single morning. And like, it's crazy how much that actually does help, because I've been doing it, and like you write down, and whatever it's on your mind, you just write it down, even if, like, whether it's a rhyme, whether it's like about this girl, whether it's about that you suck, that you're not successful, that you didn't sleep, whatever it is, you just write it down. Then literally after those 15 minutes or 30 minutes, however long it takes you, you feel like you have less on your mind because you wrote all that down and you feel clearer. And then after like 5-6 months, and that's what she says, or not even 5-6 months, but days, like it's like your essence is coming through instead of like, oh my God, I can't forget to do this. I want to tell this person to do that. Yeah. And a lot of those things is like, you don't even need to do. Like, oh my God, I got to remember to read page 67 of this book. Like, do you really?
No, but sometimes you do. It's just like writing that to-do list helps a lot. Like,
but it's not even a to-do list. It's just like a brain dump.
Yeah, it's a brain dump, and it clears your mind. I can imagine how that works for sure. But for me, like, I would catch myself being like, oh, yo, don't forget to do this. Oh, yo, you have to email this person.
Yeah, that's cool. Yeah.
And then I just stop and I'm like, dude, just write this shit down and stop fucking replaying it in your mind. Yeah. I'm just like replaying and wasting mental energy on like replaying this idea of what the fuck I have to do today, you know what I mean?
Exactly, and not forgetting it.
Yeah, you just throw it on a piece of paper and then it's done, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
It's how people feel, man, when they write a book, like especially a book like where you went through some sort of trauma. It's like you almost write it for yourself, just to write it and put those words and that story into the past and just like leave it there.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I think artists do that a lot, like when they're writing songs and stuff.
Yeah, but another thing that a little bit off topic is just like I feel like a lot of people are, especially in Canada, well, I don't know, maybe my surroundings, a lot of people are like afraid to come on the podcast, and I'm actually grateful that like you don't have that fear. And maybe we should
we're just talking, bro. Like, to me, like, it's that simple.
But exactly, like, that's what I want. I want to like invite people and just have a conversation with them, whereas like I feel like a lot of people that I invite entertain the idea of coming, but then like they freak out last minute.
Why do you think that is?
Because I was thinking about this, okay, and there's several reasons for that. One is that they fear saying something that's gonna make them sound stupid.
True. Which
I get it. You know, I felt that way for a long time, you know, and it's something that I dealt with mentally, and I just overcame it because I've decided like there's the formal world where like you want to put on a suit and play by the rules of society and like kind of climb the hierarchy. If you want to play that game, I see why like coming to a podcast could be fearful because you're like, oh fuck, my job, my reputation, like you know what I mean? I don't want to say something that's gonna put that at risk. Yeah. So I see that. and then like you could also fear like saying something that's gonna go viral for the wrong reason or being misunderstood.
Yeah.
Like I was thinking about this. I'm like imagine we say, yo, that girl's fucking hot, and then like somebody just cuts that and you become a fucking misogynist and it goes viral.
Yeah,
You know,
totally.
and it's like I get that how that could happen. So maybe you fear that, or maybe certain people are not comfortable with themselves and they have like lower, like, I don't know, self-esteem.
Yeah, maybe it's just outside their comfort zone too.
It is, and maybe they fear like not knowing what to say, or I don't know. A lot of it is fear.
For sure.
And I just want to clarify that, like, I just want to have a conversation with a person, and I want that person just to be real. Like, the only requirement is just to have a good attitude and be real.
Yeah. So,
yeah, I have a bunch of people in mind that I just want to bring to the podcast, but I'm just always like, oh fuck, like they're gonna fear, or they might feel like, I don't know, it's not gonna serve them.
Do you think like the way you're introducing it could change and maybe make them more like more warm to coming on, let's say?
I feel like the more like consistent I become at this, and the better I become at this, the more people are gonna be willing to come on.
That's for sure.
I haven't reached out to like a lot of people, but like the few people I reached out, I feel like a lot of them press the fear button.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Some people are down, but I don't know. Yeah, fear is real, and it makes sense. Like a lot of it makes sense.
But like,
but what I was wondering is, I'm like, is this a millennial thing? Is this a Montreal thing? Is this a Canada thing? Because I feel like LA, California, the West Coast is just killing it. Everybody's just like consistently like collaborating, consistently going on each other's podcasts, collaborating in music. I just feel like everything is growing so fast over there, and I kind of wish we had that culture down here. You know, I would love to go on somebody else's podcast and like support them, or like, you know, vice versa, or like have artists come here and like bust a freestyle.
Yeah.
Speaking of freestyles, like, would you like to be freestyle?
I would, but we need a fucking beat, and I would be down eventually. But like, I don't think it's a Montreal thing. I think what happens in the West Coast is that people congregate there, so they come from all over the world to actually be there and be on that grind. So there's more people around there. I know people in Montreal that are hustlers that like are down to, you know, do work sessions, down to come on here, and like like maybe it's not exactly in your immediate surrounding and all of that, but I feel like, you know, you can't paint everyone with the same brush.
Yeah, definitely not. I don't want to do that. I definitely don't want to do that.
But I do agree with what you're saying. But like, also, it's like it's mediatized, right? So like Joe Rogan's over there. Is Joe Rogan in LA?
Yeah.
Yeah. Joe Rogan's over there. So all the self-dev like people is that they're over there. So it's kind of like we feel like we're in lack of. So that's why, you know, the grass is greener on the other side. But maybe if you go there, it doesn't mean you're going to get invited into the podcast either.
You're definitely not. But I just feel like there is a collaborative spirit in the West Coast.
I think it's here too.
I hope so.
It's here. Maybe not.
So.
Maybe not as much. That's like maybe that's
not
what
as much. Yeah.
That's what we should be saying. Maybe not as much. Maybe.
Yeah. But anyways, we're gonna wrap this shit up. So we're gonna go with another gratefulness.
Oh, nice.
So yeah, what are you grateful for, my G? I could go first if you want.
Yeah, please.
So last week I felt like a little overwhelmed because I was really fucking busy. Like, I'm trying to create this networking event.
Yeah.
I had the podcast in mind. You know, obviously working with Goldcast, like dropping videos like every day. And then I was just like, and then like trying to juggle my social life and everything, like, and moving out and like booking like condos to visit. And I was like, holy shit, I felt like really busy. But then like I almost saw it as a bad thing, but then I became grateful that I'm busy, because there was a time where I wasn't busy, and if it kind of sucks when you're not busy and you don't have much going on, and like you're not doing what you love, and then it made me realize that I had like this time last year I had like so much anxiety and shit, and a lot of it had to do with like school. And I guess that was the last year that I was doing shit that wasn't 100% for myself. You know what I mean? It was still part of me that was doing it for my parents, and part of me that was still doing it for society, just to feel like accepted. You know what I mean? And that's almost like half the reason why I went to university. It was just it's more of external.
Yeah, for sure.
It was definitely more external than less internal.
I believe that, because like, dude, like, to be honest, like, when we're on that path, do we even have the mindset to evaluate the decision we take?
No, we don't. You're in the sauce. You don't even realize it. But it's only after that you stepped out that you're like, whoa.
Exactly.
Like a lot of that anxiety and stress was just caused because I wasn't being congruent with my own thoughts and beliefs. Like I wasn't in harmony with what I believed.
And no one ever sat you down and be like, all right, do you want to do this like 8-year decision? You know, like, do you want to go through this program like 4 years and 2 years, like at Dawson or whatever it is? Do you want to do this? Like, no one, it's just like everyone takes that for granted. It's like, that's what you're doing. And if you're not doing it, you're fucking crazy.
But at the same time, I don't regret any of my past because I'm happy of where I am today. So I'm happy that I went through that to realize that what I wanted to do. And sometimes you have to go through it. You have to go through school. You have to go through that shitty job. You have to go, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure.
Through the shitty relationships and to realize what you do want and what you don't want. So it's part of the human experience, really. You know what I mean?
For sure.
But yeah, I encourage everyone to just like really do what you love. And that was my philosophy, and like I feel like that was the philosophy I followed like throughout like all my schooling and everything. I kept doing like what I loved, you know what I mean? I was still like working a little bit on my podcast. I was doing videos just like for fun, and then I became a video editor, and then like boom, boom, like,
that's
you know what I
dope.
mean? It's like, so I always like followed my heart in a way.
That's
I guess,
dope.
as corny as it sounds, but it's true.
It's
And
true.
like,
It's the real truth.
So that's the thing. I was thinking about like, oh fuck, I need more money. There's the short way of doing it where you could just get a part-time job and work for something that you don't really believe in. Like, you know what I mean? I could like go back, you know, to the restaurant industry, for instance, and like make stupid tip money.
Yeah.
And like, oh, okay, now I have money. But I'd rather take the long way, which is like, okay, do the podcast, and then eventually like you could maybe, you know, make a living off of this, you know?
Yeah.
So the longer path is the path that I've chosen, and just keep following your heart, and eventually you'll bring enough value so that you hopefully, you know, make a living out of it.
So that's your gratefulness? Like,
I guess, I don't know. That was a bunch of different shit, but yeah, that's what it is.
That's a dope one. My gratefulness is going to be kind of along the same lines. Like, you know, I'm busy, I'm doing a bunch of shit, and like, it's all fun stuff. I'm learning. Like, my gratefulness is that like, I'm here, today's a Sunday, and I'm at WeWork. You know, I'm down to work. Like, I'm going to work on a Sunday. Saturday, yesterday I was here. You know, tomorrow I'm going to be here. Like, my gratefulness is that like, my days are my days, and it's not like my weekends and my weekdays don't change that much. And I like that like state of flow. Like, of course, like it changes a little bit. You know, you want to chill more on the weekends and all those stuff. But I'm grateful that I'm not like living for the weekends, you know, and fucking hating Mondays. Like, just that is like I'm super grateful for that, because there's way too many people that hate fucking Mondays, man, and that they just live 2 days a week. And like, even though like we work hard and we do all those things, it's just like it's areas that I want to work on. So I'm mad grateful for that.
Awesome, man. So yeah, thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing all of that.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, that was Chimp Talk, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for listening, and please subscribe and follow us. Thank you. Bye.